Well, that's just irritating. I recorded this entire video, went to edit it a little bit, and realized there was no audio. So I'm doing it again. On a positive note, I made a lot of mistakes last time that hopefully I won't make this time. So here we go. I have been wanting to do a couple of video responses here. Actually, I've been wanting to do a lot of video responses. I don't have a lot of time, and I've really missed out on a bunch of them that I'd like to do. And then this weekend, OldSkoolBrian put out a really cool one that I wanted to do a response to. And then Lawn Boys Post 1975 put out a video last night that I wanted to do a video response to. So I don't have time to do both, and I'm going to do a 2-for-1 deal here. I'm going to start with Lawn Boys Post 1975, and what he wanted to know essentially was, what is the first game that you purchased yourself for every system that you've ever owned? And I can't actually answer that question because I've got more than 60 video game systems here, and I honestly don't remember what most of them are. However, what I do remember are the systems that I owned the first time around. I've only actually, as a kid anyway, I only ever owned 3 systems on release. They were the Atari 2600, the Sega Master System, and the Sega Genesis. And those systems, I do remember very specifically which games that I bought first. With the Atari 2600, I was still very young, and it was the family's system that was eventually claimed by my 7-year-older brother. He was 7 years older than me, is what I meant by that. And I only bought a couple of games. The one that I'm pretty sure was the first one that I ever bought. It was after the video game crash of 1983. I ended up purchasing a game called River Raid, this game right here. And I believe I ended up getting it for $10 brand new at the local Kmart. Yeah, the video game crash was awesome here because it just meant that all the games that the retailers still had in their stores were cheaper than they were before. So, yeah, I bought River Raid, and I played this thing like crazy whenever my brother would let me use the system. It is the very first shoot-'em-up, or shmup, or scrolling shooter, whatever you want to call it, that I can remember playing at home, and I love the thing. And this is probably the reason that I still enjoy playing them today. So River Raid was the first game that I ever purchased for the Atari 2600. The first time around. You know what I meant. Next, and in the first version of this video, I forgot about one of these. For my birthday one year, I had a whole bunch of money. It was on my actual birthday because I was born on leap year, and let's see, that would probably mean that it would have been my 12th birthday, I would guess, if I had to make a guess. So that would make it 1988. And that year, I got a whole bunch of money from my family. Got, I think, $100 from my mom, which was huge money for me back then. And then everybody else gave me money, too, because that's what I asked for. And I bought a whole bunch of Garfield books, because I loved Garfield, still love Garfield, and 2 video games. I'm pretty sure I only bought 2. I can only remember buying 2. And I'm going to show you 2 because I bought them at the same time. They were Gangster Town and F-16 Fighting Falcon. And F-16 Fighting Falcon is a combat simulator game, and I bought it mainly because it was a card game, and it was the first and I believe only card game that I bought back then. I didn't like the game very much. I played it quite a bit, but I didn't like it enough to take a chance on any other card games. And then Gangster Town, as a lot of you will know, is my all-time favorite light gun game. It is fantastic. It's 2-player. You shoot gangsters, and then you can shoot their angels that are going to heaven, and they presumably go to hell. I don't know. And absolutely love this game. Then, for the Sega Genesis, I had, let's see, I got my Genesis fairly early on, and it came packed with Altered Beast. And then, at some point, somebody bought for me Sonic the Hedgehog. And then, after that came, let's see here. Would have been 92 or 93. No, 90, I don't know, when did this come out? 92. So 92 or 93, I purchased Sonic the Hedgehog 2 because I loved Sonic the Hedgehog, and this was a 2-player Sonic the Hedgehog game. I could not wait to get this thing home and play it, and it is a fantastic game. I still love this game. You know what? I still love all of these games. These games are all great. So those were the games that I purchased, the first games that I purchased for my systems when I was younger, the first time around. buying released systems. I think it made less sense in this video, but in any case, check out Longboy's Post 1975's video. Please do a response. I would like to hear what you guys have found too. I'll go back later and check to see what sort of video responses are posted there. You know what? While you're there, check out his channel. You might like him. I like him. You'll probably like him too. Subscribe to him maybe. Now, Old School Brian. I watched this, I think, Sunday. I don't know if he put it out on Sunday, but I watched it Sunday. And I'm trying to remember exactly how it was worded. I believe he wanted to know what is the most expensive or the rarest or the biggest thing that you missed out on in the wild purchase. And while the one I'm going to tell you about is not the most expensive or the rarest or certainly not the biggest, it is the most irritating. And it happened here just a couple of months ago. I was at a local, well, not local, it's in Akron. It's like 35 minutes from here. But I was at an indoor flea market that I frequent because it's right down the road from one of my stops for work. And I always check it out on lunch. And it's not a particularly big place. This is actually the place that I got the first copy of Earthbound, where it was bundled with Super Nintendo, The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and Donkey Kong Country. I got it all for 21 bucks. Anyway, it's that flea market. And as a matter of fact, this was the same old man's booth that I was at. So I'm there, I'm walking around, and I see on this old man, on one of this old man's tables, I screwed this up last time too. I keep wanting to call it a Game Boy. It's a Game & Watch. I saw a Game & Watch. It was a Nintendo Game & Watch. It was the Octopus single-screen Game & Watch. Now, I didn't know at the time how much it was actually worth, but I did know that they're fairly uncommon, and I know that like the cheaper ones go for around 20 or 30 bucks. So I asked him how much he would like for it, and I think he said $5. So I said, oh, well, I would like to have this. Do you have change for a 20? And of course, he didn't have change for a 20. He said, well, you know, you can pick out, well, I'm sorry, he said it with a heavy accent, but he said, well, you can pick out some other things, and, you know, maybe we can work something out. So I look, and there was this little LED pinball game that I was kind of interested in, and he only wanted $2 for that. And then he had some broken Game Boy Pocket colors that I had no interest in. And I said, you know what, let me go get some change, and I'll be back. So there is a video game reseller about 40 feet away from this guy's booth, and I'm always amazed that I ever find anything in this guy's area. I can't even really call it a booth, it's just a series of tables. I'm always surprised that I ever find anything there because this reseller is just right around the corner from him. So that reseller, he's a pretty friendly guy, and I've been there a few times. Well, I've been there a bunch before. I'm there every week. He's rarely there. But there was a game that I wanted to get there, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's on my Sega pickup. And I decide I'm going to go buy that so that I can get change to buy this thing. So I go over, and miraculously the guy's there. And, you know, we start talking a little bit, and I say, I want to check this out to see if it's complete. And I open it up, and it's complete, and that's awesome. And I look at a couple of other things while I'm there because it's not going to quite break the change exactly the way I want. And we negotiate a little bit on the price, and we come up with the decision, and I say, okay, do you have change for 20? He says, no, I don't. And he goes on to tell me about how he's sorry that he's not always here because he doesn't have a car, and he lives in Barberton, which is 20 minutes away, and he had to ride his bike today, and that's why he's covered in sweat. And he tells me this whole sob story, and really all I wanted to say to him was, you know what, I like you, you're a nice guy, but just go get my change. So he does eventually go get the change. He comes back, and he has like a whole bunch of, I don't know, he's got what, I don't know, 2 5s and a bunch of 1s. Had a whole bunch of 1s. So he gives me my change back, and I go back to this old man's booth. But if you can imagine, I should probably draw a picture, but here's his booth. He's actually got 2 booths. He's got one over here in the corner too, but that's not important. And I'm standing here, and there's an exit to his little, I don't know, circular glass booth thingy that he can go out this way. So I would normally go this way and go around, and the old man's booth is up here somewhere. I can't go that way because there's another booth that had just been set up, and they had chairs sitting here. I couldn't get out, so I have to go this way, down, around the long way. Well, I buy the stuff, I start walking around, and I go down and around the long way, and as I'm coming up the aisle here, there's the old man. I grab the little digital pinball game, LED pinball game, whatever, and I'm within 5 feet of that Game & Watch, and coming from this direction is that video game reseller. He snatches it up off the table. I didn't even bother to stop. I just walked away in disgust. I did put the pinball game back down. That reseller that had just told me the sob story about not having any money because he had just gotten there and he doesn't have a car and he can't afford to do this and he has to pay $90 every weekend for the 2 booths that he has set up, so it takes him 2 days to get it set up, and he was so thankful that I am always frequenting and buying stuff off of him because that helps him make his rent payment or whatever. He took the money that I had just given him to purchase those things and he beat me. He was able to go out of his booth and up and around this way, so he took a shortcut and beat me there, and he knew that that Game & Watch was there. He was just waiting for somebody to come and give him money so he could go buy it, and that sucker was me. I missed out on that stupid Game & Watch because I decided to go get change off of him. I could have gotten change off of the lunch counter around the corner, but no, I decided that I was going to help him out and buy something off of him and get myself change, and I got screwed for it. So, that is my story. Now, this is the really interesting part. I told you that I didn't know exactly how much it was worth, so I called my younger brother Jimmy. He doesn't like it when I call him that. I called my younger brother Jim, and I had him look it up for me at the time, and I haven't checked to see what it is since then. But at the time, the least expensive one was $80. The most expensive one, loose, was $120 on eBay. So somewhere between $80 and $120 is probably where this one fell because it was in really good condition. I missed out on that for $5 because I decided I was going to go buy something off a reseller who then took my money, turned around, and went and bought the thing out from under me. Yeah, that one really stuck in my craw for 2 or 3 days. I almost thought about going back and trying to buy it off the reseller for more than he paid, but less than it was worth, but I didn't do it. Yeah, that one really, really got to me. It was very frustrating. So, please do a response to Old School Brian's question, his question of the week, because I would like to hear your stories, and I'll go back later, just like with Lawn Boys Post 1975, and I'll watch those videos. I'd like to see what stories you guys have. Thank you very much for watching. Please check out Lawn Boys Post 1975 and Old School Brian. Their links will be below to both their channels and the videos. I'll talk to you guys later.